It was October 13, 1972 when a Fairchild FH-22-7D, two-engine aircraft carrying 45 passengers including the Old Christians Club rugby team from Uruguay, crashed in the middle of the snow-covered Andes mountain. The flight was supposed to be just a normal routine flight, a short trip from Montevideo to Chile, but bad weather, poor visibility, and critical navigation error changed everything. The plane hit a ridge, broke apart, and scattered across the desolate white mountainscape. 12 people died instantly. Several more were critically injured. The rest, cold, blooded, and stunned, found themselves alive but stranded in a place where they could not survive for long. They were 12,000 feet above sea level. Freezing winds howled through the broken fuselage. Night temperatures dropped well below zero. They had no winter clothing, no blankets, no food, except a few chocolate bars, some wine, and scraps of airplane rations. Days passed. They melted snow to drink water. They tried to keep their wounded warm. They huddled close to stay alive. Each day they looked to the sky hoping for the sound of rescue helicopters. Then came the 11th day. One of the survivors had rigged a small transistor radio to pick up news. What they heard was soul-crushing. The search for the missing Fairchild aircraft has been called off. All 45 passengers have been presumed dead. Silence, shock, grief. They were now officially written off. For a while, the cold was easier to bear than the hopelessness. And then one young man, Nando Parado, stood up. He had lost his sister in this crash. His mother had died in his arms. He had every reason to give up. But instead, he looked around for remaining survivors and said something simple, something brutally honest. No one is coming to save us. 6 words that shattered false hope and gave birth to resolve. That moment changed everything. They stopped waiting. They started planning. They rationed scraps. They turned insulation from the plane into makeshift sleeping bags. They used seat cushions for snowshoes. And then, after weeks of preparation and 2 failed attempts, Nando Parado and Roberto Canessa decided to walk out of the Andes to find help. They had no map, no idea which way civilization was, just one belief: if we don't move, we will die. Their journey was nothing short of miraculous. For 10 days, they climbed up icy slopes, crossed glaciers, and battled blizzards. No equipment, no food, only raw courage and a deep will to live. They were frostbitten and exhausted beyond measure, but they kept moving. And then on the 10th day, from a ridge, they spotted something moving in the valley. That was a man, a shepherd. They screamed, they waved, they cried. Help had finally come. 72 days after the crash, the remaining 16 survivors were rescued. Not because someone came looking for them, but because 2 refused to accept death, because they stopped waiting and started acting. The story is not just about survival. It's a lesson for every one of us. Sometimes in life, the rescue you are waiting for, the solution, the savior, the breakthrough isn't coming on its own. There will be moments when you're stranded in your own metaphorical Andes, stuck in the cold, isolated place, wondering if anyone will come to help. And in those moments, you need to tell yourself, no one is coming to save me. Not because the world doesn't care, but because you are the rescuer. You are the decision, the action, the solution. So move, try, climb, fall, and rise again.